So I just got off a call with an operator based on the West Coast, and he said, Mark, I am thinking about getting a sprinter, adding a sprinter to my fleet. So just a little background. This guy, he's relatively new. I believe he's been in business less than a year. I think he has maybe just an SUV. He might have two, but we were talking and it's just past his first month, and okay first month, not great. He said it's a very slow time of year for him. He's in a very seasonal market. I think in his first month, he hit 3.5 times ad spend, which I believe is around, for him, around $7,000 in revenue. And he spent 2,000 on ads. We charge on our smallest package, $750. And so when you really do the math, I know that that isn't the greatest return on investment. And look, I like to be very out in the open with this. What we shoot for our clients is hitting minimum of 3 times return on ad spend in their first month. And what we really like to see is 4 to 6 times return on ad spend. And here's what I've found. It really does come down to the market you're in. Some markets are just a lot more competitive. The more competitive a market, the lower that multiple will be, the multiple of your ad spend. And so if you're in a very competitive market, your multiple might only be 3x. Or like him, 3.5x. But here's what he said. He said, I'm still pretty happy because it's the slowest time of year here for us, and it's going to pick up here soon. And if in the first month I can do 3.5 times my ad spend, which he didn't realize that's what he had done, but I had done the math for him and told him that's what he had done. He's pretty confident he can do 5, 6 times once it gets a little bit busier. And so what he was talking about is wanting to expand his fleet. And so I get these questions a lot. They call in, Mark, I'm thinking about buying a vehicle, or I've already bought a vehicle. I need to get some business for it. Now, look, if you wanted to buy a second SUV, I'd say go for it. We can always increase the ad spend. We can always try to get you more leads than you're getting now if you add an additional vehicle. But what he was looking at purchasing, and I'm glad we spoke because it's important for him to kind of know what to do before he buys this vehicle. He's looking at buying a Sprinter. And with a Sprinter, you want to make sure you've got, or with any vehicle, you want to make sure you have the business coming in to at least cover your expenses, right? Insurance, payment on the vehicle. And so I asked him point blank, do you have enough potential affiliate work, or even with the marketing we're doing for him, most of it is people looking for sedans and SUVs, but there are larger groups. I would say probably 1 in 8 to 1 in 10 of the leads he's getting right now is a larger group. So we could get him some business potentially with just what he has now. But I asked him, do you have enough potential work from affiliates to where if you bought this Sprinter, you would be okay? And he said he didn't think he did. And so I told him this, look, before you go out and spend 70, 80, $100,000 on a Sprinter, do the marketing first. I see so many times I'll be on Facebook and somebody makes a post. Facebook's really big in our industry. There's a lot of groups for operators. So if you're not in the Limo Facebook community, join up because you're going to learn a lot. So what I see all the time is operators post, oh, check out this new vehicle I got. And what I see is a liability on your balance sheet. I don't see, oh, what a cool vehicle. Don't get me wrong. It's really cool to add an additional vehicle or to get something that you've had your eye on for a while. But the question is, can you keep it busy? So the first thing he wanted to find out is, should I get an executive Sprinter? So that's a Sprinter with forward-facing seats. Or should I get, and he didn't know what it was called. I think he called it a business Sprinter, but he was talking about a jet Sprinter. Those are the ones that have less seats. There's usually a table. And if you're in LA, if you're in New York, or if you have affiliates that can get you work for it, it can make sense. They typically rent for more an hour, very luxury. And that's actually what he wanted to get. He wanted to get a jet Sprinter. So he was asking me, can I get the leads, the jobs for him if he does buy a jet Sprinter? And here's what I told him. And for all of you watching this, I highly recommend, number one, you always want to start your advertising before you purchase a vehicle, right? Why would you go and spend $100,000 if you're not even sure you can keep the vehicle busy? You've probably heard the phrase, if you build it, they will come. That's just not the case. So don't go out and over leverage yourself by buying some really expensive vehicle if you don't think you can keep it busy. Now, for these specialty type vehicles, what I generally recommend is if you do end up buying one, you really want to put the word out to every single affiliate in your area that you have one of these. Because I'll tell you this, I wouldn't feel confident I could book up someone's jet Sprinter enough to where all their expenses are covered, unless it was New York, LA, some market where there's just a ton of people, there's a ton of businesses. But even in those markets, I wouldn't feel completely confident. So you want to make sure you have the business coming in. And for specialty vehicles, sure, you want to use your marketing to get clients for those specialty vehicles. But what I found generally works the best is if you are going to buy one, you go find every affiliate in your area and you let them know you have it. Because what's going to happen is there's only a certain number of people in a given market that are going to book something like that. And if every affiliate in your area knows you have one, then they can add it to their list of vehicles that they are selling and make a little bit of money off of it. But generally, I don't really recommend buying one in the first place unless you know you have a client or clients that are going to rent it on a regular basis. And so I told him I didn't think the jet sprinter was a great idea. What I suggested that he get was just a regular sprinter, forward-facing seats, typically 14 passengers. But before he gets that, let's start an ad campaign. Let's throw $1,000 or really $2,000 and over a 2-month period. Granted, you'll actually probably know in that first $1,000 if it's going to make sense. Usually the first month can be hit and miss. That's why I really like to run campaigns 2 months to really see how they're going to do. But let's figure out if we can even get you an adequate lead volume before you go out and make that kind of a purchase. Now, I'm pretty confident in most markets we can do that because it's not a super specialty vehicle, right? It's really just any group that can't fit in an SUV. Having this sort of vehicle usually is going to be something you can keep busy. But before you make that expenditure, I highly recommend go out, or well, if you're working with us, have us build you a campaign, or if you're working with another marketing agency, or you're even doing your own marketing, build a campaign for this specific vehicle. You want to have a separate Google Ads campaign with a dedicated budget for it. You want to have a separate landing page that's all about the Sprinter, all about group transportation, and get one built, run it, spend $1,000, because just look at it as market research. Now, before you start the ads, make sure you have some affiliates that actually have one of these vehicles, right? Because the goal would be you can get some bookings and farm them out, and then what you make in excess pays for the campaign itself. And then you know this is a vehicle I can keep busy through online marketing. And I never recommend just relying on online marketing to keep your vehicles busy. For most of my clients that are larger companies that are doing 7 figures plus, I'm getting them 20 to 30%, sometimes a little more, of their business. They're not relying on me for 80, 90% of their business. A lot of them still do some affiliate work. They've got some clients that use them over and over again. And then the online marketing is really just getting, you'll have lots of one-off clients, but you're also over time, you're going to pick up more and more repeat clients. Because what happens is if you have a client list of repeat clients, over time, some of those clients are going to fall off and stop using you. That's why you really want to make sure you are continuing to do marketing. I've seen it a lot where someone gets a few repeat clients. They're like, I'm set, I'm done. Cancel the marketing. Well, 6 months goes by, they lose a few of those clients and they're back at square one. So you always want to be constantly refilling that list of potential clients. So anyways, if you're going to make a massive purchase like that, I highly recommend start a marketing campaign first. Find out if you can get enough leads for the vehicle before you go and drop 50, 100 grand on a vehicle that you might not be able to get the business for. Thanks for watching, guys. If you got some value from this, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And so I'll see you guys on the next video.